Hello everyone and welcome back to the Call of Duty Diamonds YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to be focusing on the top tips to win more Warzone games. So if you guys do enjoy this video, or if you do find these tips helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel. That would be absolutely amazing. Without further ado, let's get into these tips. So the first tip I'm going to be talking about is to use loadout drops. Loadout drops in Modern Warfare Warzone is going to be super helpful. The reason for this is because you can get your own custom class up in the Warzone match, and you guys can use whichever weapon you guys want to. Instead of having to find loot on the map, you can instead buy a simple loadout drop for 6,000 points. After you buy this for 6,000 points, you can go ahead and pick it up and pick whichever class you guys want to. Now before you do this, I recommend you guys going ahead and setting up some classes before you do it, and then once you get into the lobby, then you can actually go ahead and equip it. Now, I recommend you guys using weapons such as the M4A1, the Grau 5.56, the MP7, and others. I do have a video on the channel already that should be talking about the top weapons in the game at the moment, so I do recommend you guys going ahead and checking that video out. The second tip I want to go ahead and talk about in today's video is always look at the map. Now the map can give you a bunch of different things. It can tell you where the next circle is, it can tell you where bullets are being shot from, and therefore you'll be able to see where enemies are. It can tell you nearby vehicles if you need to get away, nearby buy stations so you can buy things, nearby challenges so you can go ahead and do some recon challenges, maybe a scavenger one, maybe a bounty challenge, and these all help a lot. So I do strongly advise you guys to always be looking at the map. Now to find the map, what you're going to do is press the back button, and you will be able to see the full entire Warzone map. You can zoom in and out of the map whilst doing that. So I do strongly advise you guys to go ahead and look at the map whenever you can. Now obviously I don't recommend you guys looking at the map 24/7 because you could be busy looking at the map and there might be an enemy in front of you and you could end up dying. I recommend you guys checking the map when you are in a safe area. The next little tip I'm going to be talking about is going to be positioning. Positioning is probably the number one thing you have to do to win in Warzone. Now positioning is very important. I would probably say it's even more important than actually gun skill in Warzone. So what I mean by this is, let's say for example the final circle. Let's say for example in the final circle there is a mountain and the rest is an open area with a few trees. What you guys are going to want to do is actually position yourself at the top of that mountain, and then you're going to have the high advantage and you're going to be able to see everyone in that area, and the enemies are not going to be able to kill you very easily because you are going to be high up and they won't be able to see you very well. So this is probably the number one thing. The next example is, let's say for example the final circle is in downtown. In downtown there's a bunch of buildings, so you guys are going to want to know which building to go into. So for example, if in the final circle there's a very big building and then in the middle of the circle it's just emptiness, you guys are going to want to go to the top of that building. If you have height advantage on your enemies, this is always going to help you. The next tip I want to talk about is footsteps in this game. As you guys know, footsteps are very loud in this game, and that is hence why I am literally crawling on the floor in this gameplay, because there's a guy in that tower and I need to get to him, but I don't want to get to him without him hearing my footsteps, so I crouch towards him and therefore he cannot hear my footsteps. When I get close, I throw a C4 in the building. I didn't actually damage him with the C4, but he did get scared and he jumped out and I ended up getting the easy free kill. So I do strongly advise you guys to basically think about your movements first. So let's say for example you are in a building and there's someone above you or below you. You guys don't want to be running around all crazy because they're going to hear your footsteps and they're going to know exactly where you are, and because of that it could result in your death because they could be waiting for you around the door. Like for example, plenty of times I have heard people's footsteps, so I pre-aim at the door and I wait for them and I end up getting the easy kill. So I do strongly advise you guys to be more sensible with your footsteps. You can also find you can find dead silence around the map. Dead silence basically makes you completely silent in your movement, and it makes you a lot more fast. Now this can come in handy in those situations where, let's say, you are in a building and you do hear footsteps and there is someone close to you. If you pop this dead silence, you can quickly run away or run around behind him, and he will have no idea that you are there. So I do strongly advise you doing that. The next step is going to be to change your settings. Changing your settings on Warzone is one of the key things to increase your ability to do well. First of all, your sensitivity. Your sensitivity is going to be how fast your aim is. So if you have a high sensitivity, your aiming is going to be very, very high and speedy, and if you have a low one, it's going to be slow. So I recommend you guys using around about a 7.7. A 7.7 is in the middle of the sensitivity range, and it is the perfect sensitivity for me, but I recommend you guys playing around with the different sensitivities and finding which sensitivity you like. The next tip as well with sensitivity is there's actually a way you can actually go ahead and toggle a option where instead of holding down the button when you press loot, you can actually go ahead and turn it off, and you can, instead of holding it down, you can actually just press A instead, and it'll pick it up instantly. So all you gotta do is tap the X button or whatever it is on your console. It's different on PlayStation and Xbox, so whatever the pickup button is on your controller, all you have to do is tap the button instead of actually holding it down, and therefore you can instantly pick up all the loot. Now this goes with any loot as well, and it also goes with opening doors. You don't have to hold it down or anything like that, and it also goes with when you ascend up those elevators with your rappel equipment. You guys can just go ahead and simply tap the button instead of holding it down. So this is going to allow you to be a lot more quicker in everything you do. And let's say, for example, you are being chased by someone, you can quickly rappel up one of those elevators and get away from them pretty easily. And at the beginning of the game as well, when people all are landing in buildings and you need to quickly get some loot, this is going to be super, super helpful, because you can be one of the first people to press X and quickly just pick up a easy like shotgun and kill them straight away. I've done it several times before, and a lot of people just don't really understand, because I quickly just run over to an equipment, pick it up, and as soon as I pick it up I can use it. But if it was them, they would have to hold down the button, and therefore they're going to be a lot more slower, and I'm going to actually be able to pick up the weapon a lot faster than they are. Another tip I recommend you guys doing is always making sure your armor is full. To look at your armor, all you got to do is look in the bottom left, and it is the blue one. There are 3 bars. You can have 3 sets of armor on at once. So what I advise you guys doing is actually making sure it's always full. So literally whenever you can, whenever you get any bit of armor, I recommend you guys simply just looking at the blue armor in the bottom left, seeing if it's full, and if it's not full, I recommend you guys sticking it on straight away, because that extra 1 armor might not seem like a lot, but it's gonna really help you. That's like an extra like 3 bullets or so into you, and that's like an extra 3 bullets or 4 bullets that you can actually go ahead and survive. So trust me, having 1 little bit of extra armor on is going to strongly, like, it's going to really help you out. I do strongly recommend you guys just sticking on that extra armor, even if you think it's dangerous and you can't really have time for it. Just try and make the time, because having that 1 little bit of armor extra is really going to help you. And that is also the same with the gas mask. As you guys can see in the bottom left, if you look at the gas mask, there is a meter to how much like air it's got left in it, and after a while it does run out. So I do recommend you guys checking that, and when it does run out, I recommend you guys trying to look for a new one, or you can actually go ahead and buy a new one at the gas station. This will come in handy because it allows you to stay in the gas for a few seconds, and therefore you can make some nice moves. Anyway, that has been it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave some tips of your own in the comment section below if I missed out any good ones. I'm looking forward to seeing what your tips are. Also, if you guys have got any wins, how many wins have you got? I would be interested in knowing that. Anyway, once again, that's been it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.